right, Wes, what would you pinpoint as the reason you lost this game?
You're short on bodies. That doesn't help. The turnovers were a huge piece of that. Obviously we had a decent rhythm in the first half. KP only plays 9 minutes in that second half. Really, it becomes really tough.
What was the common thread with the turnovers?
I think at times guys try and do too much, make things happen on their own. It's tough for switches. You have to make quicker decisions. It's not necessarily what you're running, it's how you run it. And, just reading how they're guarding it, slipping and get below coverage. Sometimes they hold on to it too long. And that's an aggressive defense. They're a solid defensive team.
What's the concern level with Porzingis?
Back tightness, day-to-day, I suppose.
And, it's 7 in a run out. You guys had a strong start last year. It kind of went by the wayside. Is there any worry that seeps back into, how do you guys keep guys?
I think it's a different group. Of course, we're going through it, so you got to keep guys positive. You still got to coach, hold guys accountable. But we're light on bodies, and it's tough when you got a handful of your rotation players. I'm hoping at some point, in a weird way, this helps us. These young guys who haven't gotten a ton of opportunity get to play. Down the line, hopefully that helps us.
Wes, was the back time something KP has been dealing with and just flares up? I saw him with the wrap, I think, even before he left for the locker room.
Yeah, I didn't notice it until the game.
And then who speaks up? And if it was you after this one, are you trying to rile guys up, or is it, we can't make those turnover mistakes? What's the message?
Well, it's I think it's more encouraging right now than anything. We'll still show the film and show the mistakes. And you could teach that way. We're not going to be able to do a ton on the floor just with, how short we are in bodies. But, it's that fine line where you want to keep guys encouraged. But at the same time, we minimize some of these mistakes, the turnout could be different.
To that point, what's practice look like these days with new bodies and you're trying to ramp different guys up?
Yeah, it's not a ton of live stuff. So, that's not tipping in our favor either. But we use film, walkthroughs, small-sided segments where we can do some things, but there are not a whole lot of teams that are, full-blown practicing right now.
How likely is your team to get some of the injured players back as early as the Denver game?
Not exactly sure, to be honest with you.
Apart from that, is there anything the team can do to snap out of this?
Yeah, there's, we can minimize some of the mistakes that were made. Reduce the number of turnovers, certain areas that, have nothing to do with who's out there. But it's tough when, you don't have a lot of firepower.
Daniel, how does this team snap out of this funk it's in?
Really just staying together, staying the course, locking in and figuring out ways to just finish games like this. We came out hot and we kind of, lost it going down the stretch. And we can get to the point to where we can figure out and adjust in those situations, it'll help us out a lot, because it's kind of like, we get disconnected in certain areas, and then, little by little, it's like a domino effect. Something just happens and we can't figure it out on the fly. So once we get to the point to where we can adjust and figure out things on the fly down the stretch, it'll help us out a lot, because it'll pull us together, have us playing as a team on the defensive end. The offensive end is going to come after we get stops down the stretch.
What do you think about this upcoming road trip?
We cannot go out, BSing at all. We're going to go play a lot of great teams on this road trip, and we got to come out with the mindset of, either we're going to win them all or we're going to come back sad. I don't want to come back sad. So the mindset, for sure, I'm pretty sure in the locker room is just we got to go and take care of business. This is a business trip, night in, night out. We can't worry about the things that frustrate us. We can't worry about the things that hold us back on the floor at all. We just got to go out and play ball,
Hey, Gaff, I'm going to take it back to that quote that 𝗙𝗢𝗟 told you, storms don't last forever. It's just human nature. I know 7 in a row can weigh on you. How do you just kind of keep the positivity in the locker room despite, the obstacles right now?
Really just have short-term memory. Obviously it's a lot of things that didn't go our way tonight, but it's always another one 48 hours away from here, unless you got a back-to-back, and then, it's a couple of hours after that. But other than that, you just got to have short-term memory and just on to the next. We have days to where we can talk about the cleanup offensively, defensively, but other than that, we just have to worry about the next game at hand. You know, taking it one game at a time and not really just focusing on the past. This is behind us, and we just have to be better the next game.
And then personally for you, a double-double. Just what worked well for you tonight?
Really just feeding off the guys' energy on the floor. You know, Jordan, he came out and he did a lot of things defensively, and that kind of helped me get going too. You know, just feeding off the energy from the guys on the floor that's out there, you know, playing their tail off, you know, from whether it's the starting five and not come in, grabbing KP out, or if it's the second unit, main thing, you know, because sometimes the energy guy needs the energy too, you know, and with the help of Jordan, with the help of Corey, all the guys that's on the floor, you know what I'm saying, they helped me out a lot tonight because there was a lot of guys that picked me up last game. I was frustrated, of course, and I just had to come out and be better from that point on, basically.
Just kind of with the road trip coming up, I guess, who's speaking up in the locker room after a game like this to try and, you know, right the course?
Pretty much everybody. You know, we all know it's not going to be an easy road trip for sure. So pretty much everybody, you know. Obviously, the guys that's been in the league for a good amount of time. Of course, Taj, Will, Brad even said a couple of things. We just have to really just be locked in and not take anything for granted on this road trip, you know, because if we have an opportunity to win, we got to go take that opportunity. Plain and simple. You know, we're one of the teams that are counted out in this league, and we got to, you know, make a name for ourselves. That's the main thing.
What's good, Will?
How you doing?
All right, and yourself?
Good.
22 from you tonight. What worked well for you?
Just being aggressive, starting out the game, just put my head down, trying to make plays.
You were kind of one of those calendars that turned that Denver thing around in a tough stretch right now. Just what can you say to the guys to kind of, you know, just get them positive and turn this thing around?
Keep a positive mindset. Everything you do, just do it a little harder, practice harder, work out harder, but just keep your faith and keep going out there, giving a big-time effort. And, you know, things will change.
And then you and Monte will return back there. Just what type of reception are you hoping the Denver faithful give you?
You said hoping?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever it is, it's just going to be. I try to block things like that out and just go out there and play.
Was there something about the way you played tonight you think could carry over moving forward for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's who I've been my whole career. It's just about channeling that, you know, on a consistent basis. You know, it's tough to play like that every night when, you know, the minutes are up and down and stuff like that. We got a lot of guys, you know, in and out the lineup, so it's tough, but I got to just try to do my best to go out there and be aggressive no matter what.
And what can you tell us about the injury that you were dealing with for a few games?
There's some foot soreness, nothing too major.
Will, you kind of mentioned, especially with guys being in and out of the lineup and you kind of learning to come off the bench and everything, how you're still figuring it out. Was tonight, was that part of a factor? Do you feel like you're a little bit more settled, a little bit more comfortable?
Yeah, I just had to tell myself, stop thinking so much. I think I was just thinking too much. Should I do this? Should I do that? Instead of just going out there and playing, you know, basketball and carefree, which that's when I'm at my best.
Was the injury something that you were playing through a little bit, or it came up right before you sat out the 2 games?
Playing through a little bit, but it got worse in the Chicago game. So they wanted me to rest it and, you know, get it feeling good as possible so I can get out there and play again.
How do you size up this 6-game road trip that's coming up as a whole?
Just try to take it one game at a time. West Coast trip, a lot of good teams. And we got to figure out a way to get some wins. And, you know, it starts the first game in Denver. We just take one game at a time, can't look ahead. And we got to get one, just plain and simple. We got to figure out a way to get a win.
I know injuries have played a factor, but these last 10, 11 games, what has been going on with this team that needs to be corrected?
I feel like we've been in a lot of games. Just got to get more consistent. With a lot of our main guys out, we got to be even more sharp. Limit our mistakes on offense and defense because the error, you know, the margin of error is short now. So, you know, we're right there. Just got to figure out a way to get it done.